Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I pay homage to the Blessed One, the Supreme Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I pay homage to my teacher, Luke Swaminathan. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we are here in the Kuṇḍaliya Sutta. Buddha was teaching this Dhamma to the wanderer Kuṇḍaliya. And how are the three kinds of good conduct developed and cultivated so as to fulfill the four kinds of mindfulness meditation? A mendicant gives up bad conduct by way of body, speech, and mind. Okay, so to develop the four foundations of mindfulness, the four establishments of mindfulness, meditation techniques, satipatthana, Buddha teaches the supporting factor for that is first abandoning bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, and mental misconduct. He gives up bad conduct by way of body, speech, and mind. And we learned about those three areas in detail using the other suttas as taught by the Buddha. Then Buddha continues to say, and develops good conduct by way of body, speech, and mind. Not only giving up misconduct, but also developing good conduct helps the mindfulness practice, the meditation practice. So now we are learning about the good conduct by way of body, speech, and mind, and we already discussed about the good conduct by way of body. Today we are going to learn about the good conduct by way of speech and mind. So this sutta is from the Cetana Sutta. So can somebody read about the four kinds of verbal good conduct, so we can discuss.
May I?
Mhm.
And how, because is there a fourfold success of verbal karma, arising from wholesome volition, having a pleasant outcome and result? Here, having abandoned false speech, someone abstains from false speech. If he is summoned to a council, to an assembly, to his relatives' presence, to his guild, or to the court, and questioned as a witness thus, so, good man, tell what you know. Then, not knowing, he says, I do not know. Or knowing, he says, I know. Not seeing, he says, I do not see. Or seeing, he says, I see. Thus, he does not consciously speak falsehood for his own ends or for another's ends or for some trifling worldly end. Having abandoned divisive speech, he abstains from divisive speech. Having heard something here, he does not repeat it elsewhere in order to divide these people from this, or having heard something elsewhere, he does not repeat it to these people in order to divide them from those. Thus, he is one who reunites those who are divided, a promoter of unity, who enjoys concord, rejoices in concord, delights in concord. I speak of words that promote concord. Having abandoned harsh speech, he abstains from harsh speech. He speaks such words as are gentle, pleasing to the ear, and lovable, as go to the heart, are courteous, desired by many, and agreeable to many. Having abandoned idle chatter, he abstains from idle chatter. He speaks at the proper time, speaks truth, speaks what is beneficial, speaks on the Dhamma and the discipline, At a proper time, he speaks such words as are worth recording, reasonable, succinct, and beneficial. It is in this way that there is a fourfold success of verbal karma arising from wholesome volition. Where am I now? From wholesome volition, having a pleasant outcome and result.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So those are the 4 kinds of verbal good conduct, right? Abstaining from lying, abstaining from divisive speech, abstaining from harsh speech, and abstaining from idle chatter. Isn't that very clear, the explanation?
Yes, Bante.
Very clearly we can understand. We can distinguish between the good words and bad words. Do you have any questions about good verbal conduct? These are the things we need to practice if you like to achieve progress in the spiritual path, because Buddha is going to teach us next that these 3 kinds of good conduct are the most important things as assisting or supporting factors to develop mindfulness.
But Bhante, in our world right now that we live in, like when we go into the world, when I go to work or whatever, we don't speak of those things. We speak of the weather. We speak. There is times when somebody will gossip about somebody, and yes, I don't want to partake in that. But we also speak of a lot of other things. Whether our hockey team won, whether another sports team, is that unwholesome talk? Is that kind of speech not something that we can do?
So basically, you don't recognize them as it's not, you cannot clearly categorize something as lying or divisive speech or harsh speech, but you want to know that whether they fall under the category of idle chatter, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there are 10 types of talks that fall under the idle chatter category. 10 types of talks. Who knows those 10 types?
Gossiping?
Yeah, there are 10 types of talks under gossiping.
I know there's talking about governments, talk like that.
Politics.
No.
Yeah, politics. Can somebody find that sutta, Renga? You like to find suttas, right?
But Bante, what about the government? Sometimes they talk diplomatically, meaning to say, you know, they don't want to talk directly, you know, but then they want to talk diplomatic, and sometimes it's not really true, but for the sake of not harming the other nations, for example, so they talk. How do we categorize diplomacy? And is it good or bad?
I don't know. It's too big for me.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So, what are those 10 talks? Linda, can you find the sutta?
I'm trying, Bhante. I don't remember.
I think it's in Anguttara Nikaya.
On the 10?
Yes, I'm going to look for it.
Nama Budaya Bante, is it the Anguttara Nikaya 10-176?
You can share, I can check.
Oh, I cannot share because I was looking at my
Put the link.
phone.
Okay.
Can you read the first one?
Is that he avoids idle chatter and abstain from it? He speaks at the right time in accordance with facts, speaks what is useful, speaks of the Dhamma and the discipline. His speech is like treasure, uttered at the right moment, accompanied by reason, moderate and full of sense. So Anguttara Nikaya 10.
Yeah, so that's the same description we read here.
So that's not the one, right, Bhante? Is
Yeah. So Buddha lists them out. Idle chattering. This is what we learned, that you are reading this one. There are 10 types of. Check in the Majjhima Nikaya. Majjhima Nikaya. Rajakatha, Chaurakatha, Gamakatha, Nigamakatha, Itthikatha, Purisakatha, Mahamattakatha, Surakatha. Katha means talks. Janet, did you find?
We in the chat room.
Okay.
Maybe it is the one.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. We are lucky. Pointless talk. Okay, so I'm going to share that.
Mahachatari Sakka. Pointless talk.
So can somebody read about these 10 types of talks that we have learned? Not 10 types. 10 types are the good things to talk. 32 talks categorized on the idle chatter with the extraordinary knowledge of enlightened one. Don't expect the same ordinary knowledge from an enlightened knowledge. Buddha knew how bad karma is accumulated due to these kind of talks. So who is going to read?
I can read, Bhante.
Okay.
Okay. Bhikkhus do not engage in the various kinds of pointless talk. That is, talk about kings, thieves, and ministers of state, talk about armies, dangers, and wars, talk about food, drink, garments, and beds, talk about garlands and scents, talk about relatives, vehicles, villages, towns, cities, and countries, talk about women and talk about heroes, street talk and talk by the well, talk about those departed in days gone by, rambling, chit-chat, speculation about the world and about the sea, talk about becoming this or that. For what reason? Because this talk is unbeneficial, irrelevant to the fundamentals of the holy life, and does not lead to revulsion, to dispassion, to cessation, to peace, to direct knowledge, to enlightenment, to nibbana.
Okay, you like to write down the list and
We'll just
practice and try
Sutta
to
number. Yeah.
Sutta number.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. Sangyutta.
Try to practice at least to some extent, and you will realize how like you gain peace by avoiding these kinds of thoughts to some extent at least. Samyutta Nikaya 56.10 pointless talk.
Bhante, some of this specific more to monks, like if I'm living with a family, naturally there would be talk about family members from time to time, or maybe on the
like there are some essential occasions we need to talk about some things, but I think it becomes an idle chatter that meaninglessly keeps talking those things with the intention of like having some enjoyment, fun. You know, people waste time talking this and that. That's not beneficial. But there are some occasions that those kind of talks are essential, and it's not what is meant here, right? This is unnecessary, unbeneficial talks about those topics.
Like kind of going on and on. Because I know some suttas talk about after some kind and amicable talk, then they talk. So I forget the exact phrasing, but it's like there's this little introductory chat, but it's not like, okay, we don't go on and on. We then
like wasting your time, wasting others' time.
So when it gets extensive.
Yeah.
But then he got one sutta, which is opposite to our topic. Like, what are the 10 types of conversation we should engage to?
It's the same thing. Oh, you mean the talks we should talk?
The talks we should talk, yes.
Okay, so we learned about the talks that we should not speak, and now we have the things that we should talk. There are 10 topics. Can somebody read?
Can I read one thing? There are these 10 topics of proper conversation. Which 10? Talk on modesty, on contentment, on seclusion, on non-entanglement, on arousing persistence, on virtue, on concentration, on discernment, on release, and on the knowledge and vision of release. These are the 10 topics of conversation. If you were to engage repeatedly in these 10 topics of conversation, you would outshine even the sun and moon, so mighty, so powerful, to say nothing of the wanderers of other sects.
Yeah, Buddha highly encouraged, like appreciated these 10 types of talks. Appichakata, talk on modesty. Doesn't matter how it is translated, but the meaning here is talking about few wishes in life, and also talks about not showing off one's good qualities, being humble, and those kind of talks. Santuttikata talks on contentment, like the talks about how to be happy with what is available. Very important qualities and leads to peace. On seclusion, Avivekakata, leading a secluded life, taking some breaks in life, going to retreats, going to monasteries, and practicing meditation, and all those talks are included in Pavivekakata. Asansagakata, about detachment, about letting go, about generosity, all these talks, very beneficial talks. Viryarambhakata, about making effort to abandon unwholesome qualities and to develop wholesome qualities, those kind of talks. Silakata, talks on virtue, about abstaining from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, taking intoxicating drinks and drugs, how to improve precepts, how to go for higher precepts, and all those talks on virtue, benefits of virtues. Samadhikata, talks on concentration. Panyakata, talks on wisdom. Vimuktikata, talks on liberation, achieving enlightenment. All these talks on the Vimutti Jnana Dassana Kata, about knowledge and liberation, realizing the Four Noble Truths, achieving liberation, all these talks, and they lead to peace, enlightenment, and to Nibbana. Those are the beautiful talks. You can only talk on those topics when a Buddha has appeared into this world. Mm-hmm. The most important thing, if you like to talk about those talks, is that you associate with Kalyanamittas. You live with Dhamma friends, like you practice close friendships with, you can have so many friends from different backgrounds, from different views, holding different opinions, but you have very close friendships with Dhamma friends. Then you get to talk to those talks. Very good. Now people are very skilled in finding suttas, right?
Yes, Bante, indeed, Bante, sad.
That's a good thing.
Yes, Bante.
Yeah, this is a really important thing. When we went to Sunday Dhamma schools and when we went to university schools, we didn't know about suttas. We didn't know about suttas. Did you have a habit that to find in suttas when you had problems in life, when you had questions? Did you have the habit to go to that website, this website, and find the answers? It's a new thing. Now you want to know, okay, what should I talk and what shouldn't I talk? You just go to the suttas and find, because you need to know the Buddha's advice on that. Did you do that when you were a kid? No, we just started it. It's a new thing. And even these suttas got translated recently.
Yes, Bante, the original translations done in the 1940s and 50s by
Yeah.
F.L. Woodward. Oh, that's so much harder. And I struggled through reading them. I read them, but
People didn't
they had
have
a lot of
access.
Pali words. Yeah, they had a lot of Pali words. So someone who doesn't know Pali would probably not understand it.
Yeah, like very few Bhantes recently finished translating all these things, like Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi Bhante, Venerable Thanisaro Bhante, Venerable Sujato Bhante, Venerable Analeo Bhante, and very few other Bhantes did some parts, and now we have the entire collection of the 18,000 discourses, and that's a very new thing. Lots of people died without even hearing the word suttas. In Sri Lanka, my teacher Lokuswamin has translated all the 18,000 discourses into simple Sinhalese language, and that's a very amazing thing, because all the other translations are from different languages, were not done by a single person. Portions were done by different people. But my teacher translated the entire Sutta Pitaka into simple Sinhalese language. I don't know if anybody has ever done that in the world, translating the entire Sutta Pitaka, single person, to a different language from Pali. So there is some fortune for the humans who live in this era. Yeah, so have that habit. If you have questions, just go to the Sutta Pitaka and find answers. So we learned about good things to talk and things that we should not talk. And now we are going to learn about the threefold mental good conduct. Can somebody read?
Bhante, can I try? And how, because is there a threefold success of mental karma arising from wholesome volition, having a pleasant outcome and result? Here someone is without longing. He does not long for the wealth and property of others thus, or may what belongs to another be mine. He is of good will and his intentions are free of hate. Thus, may these beings live happily, free from enmity, affliction, and anxiety. He holds right view and has a correct perspective. Thus, there is what is given, sacrificed and offered. There is fruit and result of good and bad actions. There is this world and the other world. There is mother and father. There are beings spontaneously reborn. There are in the world ascetics and Brahmins of right conduct and right practice, who, by having realized this world and the other world for themselves, by direct knowledge, make them known to others. It is in this way that there is a threefold success of mental karma arisen from wholesome volition, having a pleasant outcome and result. It is because of the threefold success of bodily karma arisen from wholesome volition that with the breakup of the body after death, beings are reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world, or it is because of the fourfold success of verbal karma arisen from wholesome volition that with the breakup of the body after death, beings are reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world, or it is because of the threefold success of mental karma arisen from wholesome volition, with the breakup of the body after death, beings are reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world, just as dice, when thrown upward, will rest firmly wherever they fall. So too, it is because of the threefold success of bodily karma, or it is because of the fourfold success of verbal karma, or it is because of the threefold success of mental karma arisen from wholesome volition, that with the breakup of the body after death, beings are reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world.
Isn't that amazing that Buddha's understanding says that heaven is not, Buddha doesn't say that heaven is for Buddhists and hell is for non-Buddhists. Buddha doesn't say so. Buddha didn't see that in that way. What Buddha saw was heaven is for the people who practice bodily good conduct, verbal good conduct, and mental good conduct. Hell is for those people who practice bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, and mental misconduct. Isn't that a big difference between Buddha's teachings and other teachings about hell and heaven? Ben, what do you think?
Yes, Bhante.
Yes, Bhante, very true.
Yeah, depends on karma, right?
Yes, Bhante.
So do you like that teaching of the Buddha?
Yes, Bhante.
Yes, Bhante.
It makes sense. It makes total sense. Okay, so we finished learning about misconduct and good conduct. Okay, next time we are going to learn about how, as Buddha explains, how giving up bad conduct and developing good conduct leads to the fulfillment of the 4 kinds of mindfulness meditation, because eventually the mindfulness meditation leads to the 7 awakening factors. 7 awakening factors leads to the knowledge and freedom, vijja vimutti, which is nibbana. So now we are learning about the path to nibbana in a very beautiful way. Like Noble Eightfold Path is described in different ways because of the miracle knowledge of the Buddha. So we are learning about the Noble Eightfold Path, about the path to nibbana. So that's how we gradually learn the path. So next time we are going to learn about how giving up misconduct and developing good conduct leads to the development of the 4 kinds of mindfulness practice. Now you understand Buddhism is not only about meditation, right? It's about lots of things, about ethics, morality, virtues, to the heart, and think about the mental good conduct, heart of compassion, loving kindness, heart of appreciating others' achievements, others' well-being, others' properties, not being greedy, not longing for others' belongings, and also holding right view. Now, some people try to achieve success in meditation while holding wrong view. Now you can understand very clearly with this sutta. To achieve success in meditation, holding right view is very helpful. So Dilum, you don't have questions? What happened to your questions?
Bhante, there's a question in the chat box.
Asking about achieving the heavenly bliss before death. Yes, Buddha teaches the jhanic pleasure, the happiness that comes from when the meditator is in jhanas, in the levels of meditation, first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana. Buddha teaches that happiness even surpasses the heavenly happiness. Because still, heavenly happiness, heavenly pleasures are mixed with worldly things, material things. They are subject to change and followed by lots of pain. But meditative bliss, meditative happiness is not worldly. It's not coming from material gains. It's coming from a spiritual source. So Buddha teaches this meditative bliss surpasses the heavenly bliss. So yeah, you don't need to go to heaven to achieve higher pleasures. You can achieve higher pleasures that are especially not harmful. Buddha teaches human pleasures and heavenly pleasures. You should be afraid of experiencing those because they have lots of consequences of going to experience those kind of happiness because they come from a material source, worldly source, mixed with sense pleasures. And Buddha teaches they are mixed with defilements. And Buddha never encouraged experiencing sense pleasures, panchakama. Buddha like when we go in the advanced path, like in other places, Buddha explains that, living a righteous life, earning the money in the righteous way, taking care of parents, taking care of the family members, Buddha praised that. But in terms of achieving the higher goals of the spiritual path, Buddha always encouraged the meditative bliss. Buddha said there is no danger of that. There is no danger of earning that pleasure. No harm. You don't need to be afraid of that. So you can meditate hours and hours. No danger. No harm. And that happiness of meditation surpasses all the human happiness and all the heavenly happiness, here and now. Rob.
Yeah, just a question about right view versus wrong view. It seems very central, very important. I'm just wondering if you could maybe, if you could say in one short sentence, or as short as possible, what is right view? And I know there's a lot to it, but if it could be summarized.
I have a short sentence.
And what is wrong view? And what is wrong view?
Yeah, but I cannot give you in one sentence. I will give you in 2 sentences.
Yeah.
Okay, wrong view is tenfold, right view is tenfold. You like that?
Yes.
There is no shorter version. You have to learn all the 10 things.
Tenfold. I'm surprised. I thought you would say eightfold. Where does tenfold come
Tenfold. Tenfold.
Not eightfold. I thought it's the eightfold.
No. So you have to learn about 20. You have to learn about 20. Okay. 20 types of wrong view, 10 types of wrong view, and 10 types of right view. You have to learn 20.
Okay. So that's incorporated into the first factor of the Eightfold Path.
Yes. Yes.
There's 20.
Avoiding the 10 types of wrong view,
right,
and achieving the 10 types of right view. You are right. It is incorporated in the first factor of the Noble Eightfold Path, right view.
I see. Okay. Okay.
And achieving those 10-fold right view is only a part of the right view of the Noble Eightfold Path. It's not the whole thing about the right view in the Noble Eightfold Path. Only a part. The other part is about the understanding of the 4 noble truths. So the 10-fold, this is called mundane right view. So the 10-fold mundane right view plus the knowledge of the 4 noble truths collectively are called the right view of the Noble Eightfold Path.
Why do they use the word mundane?
Because the Pali word for that is laukika. The knowledge of the 4 noble truths, that right view is called lokuttara.
I see.
The mundane means if you only have mundane right view, it will help you to go to a better world after death, because your mundane right view helps you to do good things, to practice generosity, to keep precepts, to help others, to be kind, to be nice to others, and like that. The mundane right view helps you a lot.
So it's more basic, fundamental, rather than
fundamental. Yes. It will help you to go to a better world, to be reborn in a better world after death, but it doesn't necessarily take you to Nibbana.
I see.
So you will go to a better world, you will stay there, you will enjoy all the pleasures in that world, and when the lifespan is over, you will go down according to a bad karma to a lower world. On the other hand, if you go with both mundane right view and the noble right view, which is the knowledge of the 4 noble truths, you are secured. You never go down. You always go through safe worlds.
Okay.
With the association of Kalyana Mittas, you are safe until you attain Nibbana. That is the power of the having both mundane right view and the noble right view.
I see. Thank you, Bhante. That's clear now.
Good. And phone has a question.
Thank you, Bante. My question is about holding back judgment. Like if you see someone doing something wrong, and then you want to make a judgment about that person, but because because we are still defiled, is that a wise thing not to judge? Is there a sutta that the Buddha talking about holding back judgment?
You mean like a sutta about not judging others?
Yeah, but not judging other or about judging the situation because
Yeah, briefly I can say, yes, Buddha advised his disciples not to judge anybody. Buddha said, there is only one person in this world who can judge others. That's the Buddha. The Buddhas can judge others, not the ordinary people. Buddha went on to say that if ordinary people judge others, they destroy others' qualities. They erase others' qualities. They make bad karma. So we can learn, there are beautiful suttas about the Buddha's advice of not judging others. And also Buddha teaches us how false it is when other people judged. Buddha explains, look at how wrong it is that this person judged about the other person, and it was very wrong. So Buddha is teaching about it. We can learn about it in the future, okay?
Thank you, Bante.
Very good. Yeah, so Renga has shared Migajala Sutta. That's one of the suttas where Buddha teaches about not judging others and the danger of judging people. So you can read that. It's shared in the chat box.